A legislative breakfast was held today at the Residence Inn by Marriott by both Bronx and Manhattan council members, where they networked and had a panel discussion with both builders, contractors, and architects in order to hear what the people need in order to make housing better. This breakfast, involving the Bronx chapter of Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors and the Queens Bronx Building Association, was a way to bridge the gap between housing development and members of the council by holding a panel discussion on pending legislations and emerging issues.
Legislative Breakfast is an annual event that we do that really brings our members and constituents in the Bronx, mostly the Bronx and Queens areas, together with our elected officials. Obviously, the key focus is on real estate. We all know that we have a crisis in New York. We know that. We've heard about a lack of housing stock, lack of inventory. How do we deal with that?
Some important issues that were discussed were affordable housing, inflation, realtor and contractor investments, infrastructures with apartment buildings in Manhattan and Bronx areas, and much more. Two of the speakers, Councilmember Eric Denowitz, representing the Bronx, and Assemblyman Al Taylor, representing Harlem, talked about this meeting and how we can do better.
There are policies that we've passed in the City Council to help people stay in their homes, including revamping our City FEPS voucher systems. And there's no doubt there's a housing crisis. And we need to look at smart ways to build more housing that ensures that the housing being built is incentivized for developers while being affordable for people here in New York City.
I think we need to demystify that, and that's what happened here today. To have these conversations with managers, to have these property managers and owners, because they're on the ground, and we're saying, we understand what you're doing, but we understand what our constituency needs as well. And how do we bridge that? And stop talking at each other and talk to each other and figure out how we can be helpful.
These issues involve not only money, but affordability for both tenants and property owners. It's about togetherness, having these discussions, and making some adjustments. Regional Director of HGAR and Director of the Bronx Chapter, Eliezer Rodriguez, tells us more about that.
I like to call this a step forward in what I call participatory legislation, where the elected officials and the interested parties can sit down and discuss bills of concern and come to an understanding before the bills are proposed, as opposed to putting the real estate world in a position where they have to defend or argue against the bill. This is a step forward.
To learn more about the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors, you can visit their website at www.hgar.com. Reporting for BronxNet, Shanel Thompson.